planet Earth is like a school for every one of us for their own soul growth and evolution. Nothing is random or accidental. Everything is pre-planned by the soul to fulfill their soul purpose. There is no eternal hell, only reflection, healing, and growth for every soul. Good morning, friends. I'm Jyoti from Dubai. Today, I would like to present a book, Life on the Other Side, by the author Sylvia Browne. So let's go to the presentation. I just would like to share my PPT. Let us start the presentation. Before going to the chapter insights, I just would like to give a quick introduction about the author. Sylvia Browne was a renowned New York best-selling author. She was an esteemed psychic. She was the founder of Society of Novus Spiritus, a church dedicated to spiritual exploration and understanding. Now coming to what this book is all about. This book invites the readers on an enlightening journey into the afterlife. It tells us what awaits us beyond this world. It reveals the truths about the other side and the transition between the lives. So basically, it serves as a comforting guide to anyone who is seeking answers of afterlife, and ultimately, it leads to a sense of peace and understanding. Now let us go to chapter 1, 2, and 3, where I clubbed these, which are interconnected. Here, author mentioned about her belief about the other side. Author expressed her firm belief about the other side and an eternal journey of the soul. She mentions here that it is a place where there is no judgment or punishment. She also mentions here that it is a tangible reality, not a mere fantasy. Coming to her skeptical nature, Sylvia maintained her skeptical approach even during her young age, though she was experiencing a lot of psychic abilities, interaction with the spirit guides, visions, but she did not believe them blindly until she realized them as true experience through her interaction with the spirit guides and the teachings of her grandma, who was also a psychic. She understood that spirits are not burden, but rather gifts to learn and help others. Coming to her formal education, author pursued her hypnosis training. She began to take past life regression therapies on clients, through which she started getting the confirmations. She started getting the realization of past life and how it impacts on the present life issues. So coming to meeting with her spirit guide. At an age 7, author Sylvia had a experience connecting with her spirit guide called Francine. Through this connection, she got a continual guidance and the insights into her psychic abilities and the nature of the other side. So let us understand what these spirit guides are. Actually, every soul has a spirit guide, irrespective of they are consciously aware or not, but every one of us has a spirit guide. The spirit guide communicates through the intuition, dreams, signs, colors, visions. They do not communicate through language or words. So basically, the spirit guides will help us to stay aligned with our soul purpose. Then now the question arises, who will become the spirit guide? Actually, the spirit guide relationship will begin on the other side. The spirit guide take up a role for their friend or loved one to make them understand, to make them realize the facts about the planet Earth when they incarnate. So, spirit guide actually, at least they will incarnate to the planet Earth at least once in lifetime. And near death experience. Here, Sylvia had a near death experience when she was undergoing a routine surgery. She described here that her journey started through the tunnel towards the light, where the spirit guide and loved ones will be waiting to welcome, but eventually she was pulled back to the present life. Here she mentions that every soul will have a similar journey irrespective of their background, but only in few exception cases the spirits may not experience this journey. Here she mentions about the ghost spirit, the spirits who are in a confused state, who are in anger state, who are not in a position to accept the fact that they have no longer physical bodies. They are not in a position to accept the fact that they have died, because this is often due to fear attachment of earthy body. These kind of spirits, the author mentioned them as a ghost spirits. So, coming to chapter 4 and 5, here author mentions about the reunion. Once the person leaves his physical body, the journey through the tunnel towards the bright light starts, where that light alerts the loved ones and spirit guides to welcome the newly arriving spirit to home, where to make them that experience as joyful, to make them that experience as ecstatic. Here, author oftenly mentioned throughout the book that that is a home. Here, planet Earth is like a school for every one of us to for their own soul growth and evolution. Soon after the reunion is done, the trip to the Hall of Records or Hall of Wisdom starts, where the spirit guide will take the newly arrived spirit to the Hall of Records. It is like a spiritual library where a soul can access to all of its Akashic records. It is like a complete record of every thought, action, and experience. It is a self evaluation of a soul who returned home in the presence of the spirit guide. So, once that trip to the Hall of Record is over, the orientation process starts. In this process, the spirit guide will help the newly arrived spirit to cope up with the new high vibration environment. Let us say, what does it mean? Let us say, if a soul has hurt someone terribly, repeatedly in the planet Earth in their lifetime, knowing their own action, the spirit will get devastated. In this case, the spirit guide will help them to come back to the normalcy, to cope up with the further journey. Spirit guide will help them to take a positive step, to forgive themselves, to take a positive step towards the journey with a greater love and compassion. So here, what is cocooning process? She also mentions. Here, the spirit guide will help the soul who are unprepared for this journey. They are confused how to go forward with that journey. In this case, spirit guide will give constant care until they feel healthy and whole again. Throughout their resting phase, throughout their healing phase, the spirit guide will help that particular spirit until they feel healthy and whole again. Here she mentions about the towers. This is a healing place for the spirits who died in extreme condition. For example, Alzheimer patients whose mind was deeply affected, or the spirits who died in the extreme torture, who got burnt and died, who got brainwashed and left their physical body. In this case, the spirit guide and the council means the wise beings of the other side, they will give an intensive care until the that spirit will come to the normalcy, because they can't be handled in the orientation process or cocooning process. For this reason, the spirit guide and the council will give them intensive care until they feel healthy and whole again. Throughout their recovery journey, the spirit guide will give them an intensive care. Now coming to chapter 6 and 7, here author mentions that soul have bodies. They look like 30 years old irrespective of their age at passing. Individuals can change their appearance based on their preference, based on the thought projection. Through thought projection, they can change their appearance. Here author mentions about the intimacy and marriage relationships. Sexual relationships do not exist on the other side, but instead, a deep form of connection between the souls occurs, which allows them to experience the profound emotional and spiritual unity. Likewise, marriages also do not exist on the other side, but because the every soul recognize that they share a common lineage with God. This allows them a sense of freedom to make their own groups, own family based on their mutual interest and past life connections. Here, author mentioned about 7 levels of advancement. These orders are in God's creation, which includes the growth of a soul and their evolution. So, what are these? These 7 levels of advancement are categorized based on the soul experience. They can spend their time on each individual level based on their own interest. They can spend as much as the time they want, each spirit based on their own interest. The knowledge gained during these levels, which enhance the capabilities when the soul incarnate to the earth. Here, author mentions throughout the book that nothing is random or accidental. Everything is pre-planned by the soul to fulfill their soul purpose. So let us understand what these levels are. In the level 1, re-entry, reunion and trip to the hall of records will be taken place. In the level 2, orientation process will taken place. So in as soon as they finish the trip to the hall of records and orientation process, in the level 3, the physical and science skills will be developed. For example, agriculture, gardening, these kinds of skills will be developed. In the level 4, creative art forms like music, poems, and dance performance, paintings, these kinds of skills will be developed in the level 4. In the level 5, more kind of research and knowledge sharing skills will be developed. In the level 6, this teaching and guidance skills will be developed. For example, teachers, lecturers, seminar leaders, these kind of skills will be developed. In the level 7, union with God, only a few souls can reach to this level. Here, author mentions that level 1 and 2 are mandatory for every soul who returns home, but soon after they finish the level 2, they will start with the particular level where they stopped before they incarnate to the planet Earth. They will start with that particular level and they resume their responsibilities where the soul has stopped before the incarnation to the planet Earth. Now, coming to chapter 8 and 9, here she mentions about the life themes and challenges. Every soul selects a primary theme and secondary theme in the presence of spirit guide and the council. Now, let us understand what these themes for. So, these themes to balance the past life experience and to overcome the recurring or repeated struggles of soul. So let us take an example and understand these themes. So for example, a soul who was a very dependent nature and very giving up nature, for every big and small challenge what they come across, they'll be dependent on someone else. In this case, in the coming incarnation, the soul select as a poverty as a primary theme. In this case, the struggles, the challenges, the repeated struggles, whatever they come across, they will select that as a secondary theme. So once they start experiencing the repeated struggles and feeling life is unfair to them, the soul will gain that strength to master the themes beautifully. So here author mentions about the option lines. In the planning stage, the soul selects an option line to master their soul lesson. This option line represents that the major challenge of that lifetime. For example, it can be health problem, it can be love, spiritual, family problem. It can be any problem where soul wants to take that as a challenge for their own growth and evolution. Here, coming to exit point, these are the pre-planning opportunities for the soul to exit the physical life. Here, author mentioned that every soul selects 3 to 5 exit points so to leave the physical life. The soul can leave the physical life based on their free will also, but once they feel like the soul purpose is complete, they can leave the physical life, or if they wish to end the incarnation early, they will leave the physical life. It depends on all individual soul how they take forward. So coming to the detailed life chart. In this chart, a soul chooses every aspect of life where there is an ample opportunity to learn their soul lessons. In the presence of council, this chart will be done. They will review the chart, ensuring that there is an opportunity for that soul to fulfill their soul lessons, fulfill their soul purpose. So, coming to farewell and gathering. A gathering with loved ones and spirit guides occur before the soul incarnation to the earth. All the loved ones and spirit guide will be there before the soul incarnate to the planet earth, and the last kiss of the god to the soul before entering to the mother's womb is called kiss of the god, which symbolizes that the love and guidance of assurance of God to that particular soul who is ready to incarnate to the planet Earth. So here author mentions about hypnosis and past life regression therapies. How? Let us understand how hypnosis and past life regression are related. Actually, if I put across in simplest words, hypnosis like a vehicle and past life regression is a destination which takes to. Then let us take a example of a PLR session which author had with a woman. A woman came to Sylvia with a severe fear of drowning. Even bathtubs terrified her. In this case, Sylvia began PLR session with that client. They discovered that in the past life, that woman had died in the shipwreck, drowning in the ocean. So through this, they discovered the actual cause of that fear, and that woman could overcome the phobia. But I got the confusion that in this case, does PLR blocks our soul lessons? So I had a confusion. I just went on searching on YouTube if I can get help with the spiritual masters. I went on listening to the masters. Then I understood through them, right? Like PLR does not block our soul lessons, but it surely can slow down the spiritual growth. So, because if someone relies on PLR session for their challenge, that means they are avoiding the challenge what is coming their way in the present life. So, avoidance of the present life situation, avoidance of present life challenges can slow down the spiritual growth of each individual, because facing the challenges or problem itself is the actual arena for our soul growth. As Pradeep sir mentions, focus on meditation and mindfulness, which leads naturally to health and happiness. He also mentions that focus on knowing the truth instead stucking at body and mind level. And we also know the sayings of Buddha and Krishna. Apo Deepo Bhava, be a light unto yourself, find the truth within instead of depending on the external factors. Instead of playing a blame game, take a responsibility and be a light unto yourself. As Krishna also said, Uddharedatmanatmanam atmahi atmano bandhu atmahi ripu atmanaha. That means you are the one who is enemy or who is friend to our soul. Okay, we will move to the conclusion part. Thank you so much everyone for participating, whoever. So, here what we can take away through this book is death is not an end, it is a beautiful homecoming, a return to our true spiritual state of love, peace, and eternal awareness. There is no eternal hell, only reflection, healing, and growth for every soul. The ultimate goal of every soul is to evolve in love and return to the soul. With this note, I have just posted a few questions here. If anyone would like to put their views across just to make the session interactive, they can go ahead. Before going to the conclusion and takeaways, we can spend for a few minutes on this. Gargi.
Yeah, I have a question that, as you said, if somebody is doing PLR, it will slow down his understanding process because they will be able to overcome the challenges or will not be able to learn things because of the PLR. However, if we are doing meditation, it will not have the same effect. So, how are PLR slowing the process of learning while meditation not? So, can you elaborate on that?
Actually, without expectation, when, as Pradeep sir said, without expectation, because PLR is a therapy where we undergo the, complete session to know the exact cause of our challenge. Because when we ourselves know the truth behind the challenge, that is our sole purpose. That is what we are incarnating for. But when we are depending on the external factors, that is again we are hindering ourselves to know the truth. When we know ourselves, when through the challenges, so the growth, whenever the spiritual masters talk about the growth, is at a soul growth, not at body and mind level. Soul growth happens only when we learn the lessons what we are incarnated for. So that's what I understood, ma'am.
However, the meditation is not hindering that soul
Definitely
growth.
not. Definitely not. Because that increases our intuition. We'll start responding to the situations very well, whatever the challenge which comes our way. So definitely meditation definitely helps to know the truth eventually. Definitely it's not an overnight process, but as our intuition and awareness level will get increased, it gives our awareness, it increases to not to take the wrong step. Even eventually that aware we will be when we do more and more meditation. So that's what I understood, ma'am.
Okay, and however, PLR is something which we are doing from the outside, so that will hinder the learning process. This is what you're saying, right?
Correct, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. That's according to my understanding. Yeah, the through the spiritual master sessions, what I have understood. In case if we need more clarification, we can ask to Pradeep sir also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It was a wonderful session. Yeah, such a deep concept. You explained it beautifully. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes,
This
ma'am. Yes, sir.
this PLR may not help in our soul growth, and it is temporary, and it may slow down our growth. Is this something mentioned in the book, or it is your understanding based on Pradeep sir's teaching?
No, sir. They have, because she is the one hypnosis trained. She did not mention. She just mentioned about the session example, what she has done with her clients. But when I got that confusion, because Pradeep sir said, focus on knowing the truth instead of stucking at body and mind level. With that understanding, I just went on searching on YouTube sessions, whoever gave the about that in the spiritual master sessions. I just went on searching, then I got to know that if we relies on PLR, we'll be avoiding the present life challenges, where we'll be avoiding facing ourselves. Instead we are depending on something else to know the cause.
Excellent, ma'am. This is what we all need to do. When we read the book, we also need to apply our mind and see, what is the right thing to follow. And if we are in a doubt, we can always clarify with Pradeep sir. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your support. Yes, sir, Jungle sir, yes. Previous connections, because the spirit guide relationship begins on the other side, where they know everything before their friend, because the spirit guide will take up the role of a friend or loved ones who has deep understanding towards them, who has deep trust and love towards them. The spirit guide will take up the role for them. So definitely they will be knowing each and everything about their consequences, what they faced in the past life, and what they need to go learn in the present and the next coming incarnation. So spirit guide will help them in each and everything. Here we understand. I also had a confusion about spirit guide, angel, and aliens, which author mentioned here. I couldn't take all the whatever she mentioned. Here spirit guide is the one who works on individual soul. The angels work for humanity, the whole universe. They don't incarnate, but they will they will work for a whole, they'll serve for whole humanity. But spirit guide will work for individuals who knows them better. That relationship begins on the other side. And the aliens work for interdimension. They serve for interdimension. Aliens and angels do not incarnate, but spirit guides at least will have their one time incarnation or more, but at least they will have one lifetime experience to take the spirit guide role, sir. Hope I justified. Here, I just would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Pradeep sir for his teaching and guidance throughout the TOT program. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste to all.